All right, so in today's video, we're gonna be doing a maximum range test on the Vectronix Vector X versus the Sig Kilo 10K Gen 2. Let's go. Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount Tactical Solutions. So we will be testing the maximum range on both of these devices in similar conditions, right? That's the only real way to do this. The scope of this video is just that. We're testing out the maximum range. This video is just one part of several videos that I'm gonna put out that are gonna end up being a very comprehensive overview and review of both of these devices. So don't make any hasty buying decisions based on just today's results. Both of these devices I've been using for quite a while. I've had the Vectronix Vector X. In full disclosure, Vectronix sent this to me several months ago this is a pre-production model. With that being said, I made no promises. They didn't pay me any money. They simply sent this to me for testing. I do have to send this back. That being said, I've loved these so much that we are now a dealer. But in case you're wondering if I'm going to be biased toward one or the other, we're also a Sig Sauer dealer, and we also sell the 10K Gen 2 laser rangefinder device as well. And I'll tell you, both of these devices are honestly just modern marvels of laser rangefinding, ballistic laser rangefinding technology. Both of these are amazing. There are some very distinguishing advantages and disadvantages of these two devices that I think you'll find interesting. So make sure you stay tuned for other reviews on this. I did review the original Gen 1 10K. If you haven't seen that video, you can go check out that video right there. I've been using that for probably 2 years now. And that thing has just been an excellent piece of kit for long range shooting. We do obviously a lot of training, competition, everything else, and I really enjoyed that. But now we have some new technology that is new guys in the market. And today we're gonna see which one we get the maximum distance out of, or the furthest distance out of. And for anybody out there that's been buying or using laser rangefinders for a while, we all know that the published distances are nothing that most of us can achieve in reality. Most of the maximum range specifications on any laser rangefinder, typically you can cut those in half, at least, and a lot of times by a third. I think for the maximum reflective target, the Vector X claims 7,000 yards. And I think most of these laser rangefinding companies must find some, I don't know, deer made out of aluminum foil or something like that. Obviously, the ranges are usually much less than that. And the only thing that we could do when we're testing these is compare them in similar conditions, because depending on the conditions, we're gonna get wildly different results. There's fog, there's haze. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder here, but we have a pretty clear day, but there's some haze out in the air. That is going to diminish the capabilities of both these devices. But I think testing these side by side, we're gonna see which ones get the best results in those conditions. You know, I do think that is the relevance of doing these tests, is of course, both of these devices I think are going to give us ranges out past what most of us would ever shoot in optimal conditions. But the question is, when we're out there hunting and it's foggy, there's smoke in the air, whatever is going on, in the worst conditions, which one of these are gonna give us the best result? In other videos, I'll definitely be covering optical quality, the different capabilities within the electronics themselves. I've already started shooting a video on the ballistic calculations of both of these. Both of these have Applied Ballistics Elite. I'll just tell you right now, we're getting extremely good and pretty much the exact same results when we're lasing targets at distance, and we have the exact same data fed into the apps. With the easy to use and navigate menus on both of these are extremely user-friendly. And man, both of these are really cool devices, but there are definitely some significant differences between these two devices that many of you are gonna find as important factors, decision-making factors, if you're going to purchase one or the other. For some people, this is gonna be a better option. For some people, this is gonna be a better option. So make sure you stay tuned for future videos, and don't go out and buy either one of these based on today's results. This is just one component. So stand by for those videos in the future, but without further ado, let's get in here, let's do some range testing and see where this goes. What I'm gonna be doing is getting distances, and I'm gonna show you the readout for each of these devices. I'll be filming through this. We'll go from near to far, see how far we get. We're also gonna compare the displays between one another, as well as the ballistic solution that each one of these are providing. Just so you guys know how I have these set up. Number one, I went through both of these devices and the apps and devices themselves, and I've made sure that we have the same rifle with the exact same settings. I've meticulously went through all the settings from height over bore, making sure it's the right bullet, making sure that it's the right muzzle velocity. These are gonna be the exact same, and they're on that weapons profile. So right here on the VectorX, we can see the dual reticle display. This is the DMR version. If you're gonna get the range enhancers and you want to be able to, or even possibly use the reticle, you want the reticle to be correct, then you're gonna need to get the DMR version, which is the dual reticle version. On the right-hand side, we can see on the display this etched reticle. The reticle on the right-hand side would be used with the range enhancers. The reticle on the left-hand side, obviously smaller, is going to be used with this device without the range enhancers, and it indicates 10x there on the bottom. The VectorX is available in 8 power, 10 power, or 12 power, and I have some recommendations on that we'll talk about probably in another video. But right here we have that etched reticle display. Let's go ahead and zoom in just so I make sure that I'm lasing on the exact same spot. I'm going to try to get it right on the door for both of these. So I'm going to laze. It comes on. I lays the door, we got 1919. And there you guys go, you can see the display. Now in the display, because of the phone and all this other stuff, it shows it's blinking. The display, as you look through the eyepiece with your naked eye, folks, it is extremely clear. It does not blink, and it is this is not a good representation, I'll just put it that way, of what you actually see. All right, so now we're gonna find the exact same target in the Sig Kilo 10Ks. Give it a second to focus. Try to focus. That's one thing I didn't do on the Vector. I didn't worry about focusing it perfectly. And I can already tell that the diopter isn't focused to the phone, but folks, that display to my eye when I look through it is perfectly clear, but we're gonna laze that door. There we go, we're getting 1939 right there. And this is how it looks. Looks like it's 28.7 MRADs or mils. This is 1937 directly on the door. 28.9 mils. So the slight differences that we're gonna see between these two, especially once we get way out there, is basically comes down to the instrumentation that is on board of each one of these. And that is how it's reading the density altitude. So the density altitude is probably being read a little bit different than this one versus this one. And we don't know which one is closer to the perfect solution unless we were actually shooting it, which we're not, but at these distances, again, we're basically within a mil. All right, so while we're here, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and show you guys the menu. So this is our menu. And again, I know it shows it's blinking, it's not in real life. And on the VectorX, we do have a directional pad. I'm gonna hit over here. You can see here's our different settings. You know, the menu just works really, really well. It's super easy to use, super easy to navigate and manage. So, and then to get out of the menu, we can just hold down the menu button again. But that's our display. This is the information that it gives you. The display on this is a little bit larger and easier to read than that, but you know, both menus are super easy to read. You have auto brightness, or you can control the brightness manually depending on what's going on. All right, so let's see how far we can get out here. So we have this house right there. All right, so we got it at 4,200. We have elevation 156.9 mils, basically 157 mils at 4,200. Let's see what we get on the Sig Kilo 10K Gen 2s. There's a car there, I'm trying not to hit that. That's about right. There we go. So with that, we're getting 154.7, I believe. So basically 154.7 versus 156.9. That one's 4198. This one's at 4,200, plus or minus 2 yards, right? So that's pretty good. Now, let's see if we can get that house right behind it. All right, so we see that house right behind the one that we just lazed. I got nothing. Zoom out just a little bit. Nothing, 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 and nothing. All right, so we have reached the maximum distance in these conditions for the VectorX for the targets that we have. I'll give a little caveat to that in just a second. So now let's take a look at the Kilo 10Ks. I do wish this diopter was a little more focused for the reticle. I know it's blowing it out just a little bit. 4241. Let me see what this says. All right, so we're getting 4241, 158.5 mils in elevation. So for today, in these conditions, with the targets that we have a clear winner today. Now the caveat to these results are that during the Major Land Sniper Cup, I had the Vectronix Vector X out there, and one of the guys in my squad had the Sig Kilo 10K Gen 2s, and we were both lasing a target that ended up being 3,123 yards away. I was able to get the lays on that. He was not. So again, there's gonna be some variability between how the lasers work and the conditions that they work best in on the targets they work best in. But I do think as far as capabilities wise, these are pretty equal to one another. So I don't think there's a big enough disparity between these two that it makes sense to make a decision just on distance alone. Let's see what else we can get with these. All right, so just playing around, I did try to laze this house multiple times with the VectorX. I couldn't get it with the VectorX at all. It's just a little bit further. But we can see we're getting 4257 out off of this. And then just seeing if we can get a little bit further. You know, we got these houses in the background. I know it's not probably in very good focus. We can't get those. And then there's this house over here. Trying to laze multiple times. I'm holding it down, scanning. All right. And then there's this pole barn over here. So let's go ahead and show you the menu on this. Again, very easy to use. There's up and down arrows on this one as well. See if I can, at least on this one, it doesn't blink. With the Vectronix, it shows it blinking, which it doesn't show it blinking in real life. But again, lots of different settings that you can go through. You can navigate through very easily. The other thing I want to point out is I know on both of these, the image doesn't look great because that's what we're seeing out there. It's pretty hazy out there. You know, that's definitely something I'll cover a little bit more in depth is the image quality between the two. There is a, I won't even say significant, there is a noticeable difference in image quality between these two. And there's a lot of other features that we're gonna go over, that we're gonna compare and contrast, and I'm gonna show you the advantages and disadvantages of both of these. So while I have your attention, if you like content like this, make sure you like, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. We really appreciate that support. And also hit that bell notification button and hit all on that notification button so you are notified when we do release new content. If you're not already, make sure you go follow us on our other social media sites. We do a lot of cool things on there. And every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we have our live Dangerous Liberty podcast where we have special guests on. We talk about guns, gear, training, politics, you name it. But most importantly, you get to join in on the conversation. We read your comments, we take your questions. It's a lot of fun, so make sure you join us. All right, so we've covered a lot, but at least in these conditions, at the targets that we were ranging today, the Sig Kilo 10K Gen 2 was the clear winner and outperformed Vectronix Vector X. I will say that I do think this is gonna be, it's gonna be one of those things where some days this is gonna perform a little better and some days this is gonna perform a little better. I just think that's the nature of the beast, how the lasers work, because I have experienced that in the past where this is lased targets that this one couldn't. So take that for what it is. But the fact of the matter is both of these are gonna give you extreme performance as far as being able to get accurate ranges at distance. Most of you, far beyond what most of you are ever gonna shoot unless you're doing field artillery. But like I said, we're gonna be releasing several more videos on both of these devices. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of things to cover. There's definitely some significant advantages and disadvantages that each of these have in different use cases and different scenarios that I think are going to just help you make the right decision for you. Neither one of these are insignificant investments, right? So I think we'll give you as much information as possible and you can make the best decision for you. Well, all right, well, while guns and gear are great, what we're really about is training. So make sure you go to ParamountTactical.com, go check out our upcoming training schedule. We'd love to have you out. We'd love to meet you in person. If you're interested in learning long range the right way, go check out that video or just go to Paramount Tactical and check out our XP Long Range Academy. Folks, Ray Helms and I have teamed up to provide you the best long range training available anywhere in the country. You're gonna have a great time with that. Meals are included. It's just a great time. We have a level 1, a level 2, and we have a couple of different level 3s coming out this year that are gonna cover kind of more advanced but different areas of expertise. But also at Paramount Tactical, you can sign up for tactical carbine courses, handgun courses, medical courses, driving courses, you name it, we cover it all. And for all your gear needs, make sure you go to ParamountTactical.com, where we only carry gear that we've personally tested and we believe in. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.